previous tutorials, we saw how to create a simple game. The game that we created included 3 different types of objects: a player character, enemies, and stationary objects. We noticed also that there was no background for the room that we created, so it was a plain color. Another thing that we noticed is that the view of the game was fixed. That means at any point in time the player can see the entire room. Both of these can change. We can have different backgrounds and colors for the room, and also we can allow the player to see only part of the room, part of the level, if we are working with very large levels. Today we are going to see how to do both of these. To start with, let's create a background. We load the background image. I have already created some images and I'm going to use one of them. You can use an image that is the same size as your room, or you can use something bigger and only part of it will be used. Now that you have a background, we can go to the room, go to the background tab, and select the background. Now we can run the game and see the background in it. That was the first step. We could also use different colors for the room that we have. So you could use, instead of the background image, use a background color. The background by default was white or grayish, but you could use any other thing. If you're using an image, the background color won't be used. The next step, we want to basically allow a camera movement in our game, which means a game level that is very big, but we can scroll a camera and at any point see a part of it. You have seen the scrolling games a lot, especially side or vertical scrolling. Typical example of it are platformers. In order to do that, go to the view. First of all, select the option enable the use of views. This allows you to create multiple views of the same room. For view 0, which is the first one, in this case we only want to create one view for our room. Select visible when room starts, and then select different sizes for them. The sizes that you have here, X, width and height, are the size of the view, which is which part of the room is this view, and also the part that goes on the screen. The image that we have and the room that we have is 1024 by 768, and we decide this view to be half of it in both directions. I have already entered the numbers and you will see it. Now if you run the game, you will see that our view now is half size. But this doesn't seem quite right, because you may not necessarily work correctly with it. You may want to also put this character in the middle of it. Somewhere in the middle of your view. You can delete objects and put it right in the middle. So when the game starts, your character seems in the middle of the view. Like this. You notice that your camera or your view is moving with your player. That means it's like a camera that is attached to your player. So if the player starts moving outside, it'll move with it. This option is set when we were setting the view. object following. I had already said that by default, when you create a new view, this object following is no object. So if you look at the other views, you will see that they all have the size equal to the size of the room, and they are following no object. For view 0, I had already created those. This is our tutorial on scrolling and creating a background.